You're right, everyone, it's Sam here. Welcome back to Season 4 of Formula Xbox. We're here for round 10 today. It's the 50% special and we're at Italy, the Monza circuit, for the first of two races here this season, as this was chosen to host the first of the 50% races, as I think I already just mentioned that. But yeah, these are now actually championship events, which means we're actually going to end up having a 22 race calendar, I believe. So it's going to be quite a long season here. I think it's pretty much going to this season's pretty much going to take us right up until around about the time when F1 2014 will probably be coming out. So yeah, certainly a long way to go in this championship. But yeah, the points are a little bit different in this. You actually score a little bit less, which is ironic seeing as these races are longer. But yeah, it's just how it is. And just want to apologise for there not being any commentary in the past few Formula Xbox videos. I just didn't really feel like it, because they weren't that interesting, and I haven't had a lot of time for commentating, and of course I always want to get these out like before like Tuesday at least, so that they can be featured in the highlights videos. But yeah, back to this, and here we are in qualifying. You can see my first lap didn't go particularly well, but my second lap, which was actually my best one here, is a lot better for me. But of course at the front, no one really, well, I'll have to look at the times actually, because I was about to say no one really got close to Astram, but the newer guys who have been coming up from Tier 2 this season, they were not that far off, I guess, a few tenths. So yeah, but as you'd expect, it was Astram on pole, although having said that, he didn't actually make the front row last time, which I think shocked everyone. But yeah, these guys who have been coming up over the course of the season, they just seem to have all just sat themselves right there in between sort of where Astram is and where like me, Insignia, Alex and all those lot are. But here we are on the grid, and we are away in Monza. I get a surprisingly good start here, I have to say. I mean, as my starts go, I thought that was pretty good, and even without Kurz, I mean, it was pretty good, as we got the inside line into turn 1 by, of course I'm always very cautious on the brakes, and I get a snap of oversteer sort of midway through a chicane there. I think it might have been a little bit of contact with the McLaren, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I actually managed to get up to 5th place in that, managed to get ahead of Insignia. I think Alex was challenging him as well. But we're heading down to the second chicane, and Insignia is still right there on me, and we go in. Pretty much everyone runs wide there, and yeah, he gets much better on me, as meanwhile behind Arte he's having a crash with the two Williams, and we're going through a Lesmos here, and I got so heavy with fuel, and we were going in sort of at awkward angles with each other there, and I was kind of forcing him off wide a little bit there. Not really much he could do, not really much I could do either. Just one of those things on the first lap. But it doesn't seem to affect us too much, although having said that, the group in front of us is already starting to pull away a bit. But of course, if they can hold their fire strong, it's bound to make the race interesting. I mean, just look at how much more interesting the race was in F1 yesterday. But you can see here Insignia is already having a look at me back into the parabolic at the end of the first lap, and he's back through and ahead of me and into 5th place. And yeah, we're going to finish this first lap where we started. So not the best start, not the worst start, but we're going to skip to a bit later on into the second lap, where as one of the front 4 crashes, it's Joe Kurz in the McLaren, who's been, I think I've finished third to him pretty much. Well, he's finished third and I've finished 4th in pretty much I think all 3 of the last 3 races. So yeah, it was nice to actually be ahead of him for once. And then on the next lap, you can see here Pro Racing, who had got the early lead in this race, has dropped to 4th and going into the Parabolica side by side with Insignia, and going in, and Insignia spins, and that wasn't even a sidepod glitch, was it? That was more of a rear tyre front end plate glitch, if that's a thing. But we're going down the pit straight. I've got DRS on Pro Racing, but look at Drastic Midget just shooting up the middle of the pair of us, and he had very good pace early on in this race. But they go in, they bang wheels, and both he and Pro Racing run wide, so as I'd expect, they both slow down to let me through there. I think Pro Racing would have felt a little bit hard done by there, seeing as he was the one who got sort of hit off wide there. But I'm up to 3rd nonetheless for the time being at least, as we head into the second chicane, I took a bit of an awkward line going in, and I clipped the curb, and yeah, I just went into the gravel and lost those couple of places, but I had a decent gap to Hamilton fan behind me, so it wasn't the end of the world at this stage. And on by the end of lap 5, everyone's coming in. Armstrong had already pitted on the lap before this, which at the time seemed very strange, but you can see here I actually took the lead at this point as I tried to extend my option tyres as far as they go, and I actually managed to extend this first stint all the way to lap 8, so I thought that was pretty good. And sort of the plan from this point onwards was to try and do prime option, try and get the prime tyres to around about 19 or 20, because I figured that if the options could do 8, then primes would probably be able to do a good 10 or 11 laps. So as you can imagine, I did lose quite a lot of an undercut here, but was obviously planning to do less pit stops. You can see I rejoined in 4th, quite a way behind Pro Racing and Midget there, but again still comfortably ahead of Hamilton fan, although there's actually Insignia there passing him. But yeah, it's a really dull middle stint for me there, as I only regained places when people were making their second stops. But you can see there I just about rejoined ahead of Armstrong, who pitted so early for both his stops, so I would certainly be 3 stopping. And at this point I was actually considering making my second stop early to try and cover him, but as you'll find out later, it was lucky that I decided not to do that. But as you can see, not really making much of a difference, as he's already on the back of me by the end of that lap, and with much fresher tyres, and just the fact that, well, he's Armstrong, he manages to make the move into the parabolica, very good move, and he's back into the lead. And yeah, only a few more laps and then I was making my second stop, but not before I lock up and run wide at the first chicane, and that cost me quite a lot of time there, because I got slowed down a little bit to let Pro Racing through, because I kind of felt that well, actually, did I let him through? I'm not sure. I think I did, I can't remember, but honestly, looking back at this, I felt like I should have done, because I came quite an advantage there by cutting the chicane. But yeah, really a battle between us for a second now, because I know that he was actually 3 stopping, so yeah. And of course I was pitting first, so I was hoping I'd have the undercut at least to try and get back ahead of him afterwards. But here we come in then for my final stop at the end of lap 20 for option tyres to the end, and that is my last scheduled stop in this race. I rejoin in, well, it's going to be 3rd place, so I had a nice gap behind me to Midget, and I can't remember who it was behind him, probably Jordan or Insignia. But yeah, exiting the pits and still in 3rd, and I think we're going to skip to the end of this lap, but not before a nice snap of oversteer from me there on the exit. But yeah, here we go on the beginning of the next lap, and there's Pro Racing next in the pits, and we're going into turn 1, and he's run wide and he's missed the chicane. And well, that was kind of like Rosberg yesterday, wasn't it? I mean, yeah, he did it once, so I mean, I guess if he didn't do it again, then it would kind of be alright to, but oh, right, okay, yeah, well, but yeah, well, I had a decent run on him here though, at least, but there was kind of a bit of lag involved, as there always seems to be in every single race I'm involved in lately. But yeah, I don't know what other people think of that. I mean, you might think I'm being a bit tedious there, but never mind, as it's not going to matter anyway, as you're about to see as I exit Ascari and make a mistake, and yeah, front wing puncture, so bye bye podium. And for once I thought I wasn't going to finish 4th, but I guess not. And yeah, I've got to try and just about make it into the parabolica, and then hope that with the nice 20-second cushion I had back to Legion, that I'd be able to hold 4th place. But that is so disappointing. But of course I was very lucky not to destroy my vehicle there, so I guess you kind of have to look at it that way, I guess. But very frustrating, and don't get me wrong, I thought this was a very good race, but that kind of put a bit of a sour note onto it as we exit the pits then after a 5.6 second stop, I think it was. We exit in the pits, and I'm using curves as soon as I get off the limiter there, because I was determined to keep this place. I didn't want to lose any more positions. We go into turn 1 side by side, and then I defend quite aggressively on the exit. Turn 2, I have to admit, but I just didn't feel like losing any more places after that. And straight away I break the DRS window, so nothing much happening after this. It's RS Dream who wins by quite a comfortable margin from Pro Racing and Psycho Squish, and it's 4th place for us for the 4th race in a row. So I hope that soon we'll be getting some kind of variation, but at least we're getting some consistent points, and we're taking points off those close racing in the championship such as Alex and Stockmat and James. But these tier 2 guys, they're going to catch up, and it's going to be quite a battle for second in the championship. But that's it for this round. If you've enjoyed this, leave a like, and I'll see you next week as we go back to the normal 25% races, and I think it's at the Nürburgring. So yeah, see you then. Goodbye.